Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday to you all. Nice to see you joining me. Thank you very much. Hi, Nicola and June, Jenny, Val, Fiona. Nice to see you're up early, Fiona. Eunice, Sue, Jill. Good to see you all with me. And I've got so much to show you today. I just hope we don't overrun our half hour by very much anyway. So where do we start? Okay, so old products, new products, and a bit in between. Let's have a go. So today I'm going to be working with some of the newish designer boutique floral stamps, which I think are really lovely. And I've had a go at 2 or 3 of them actually, and I'm going to have a go with another one completely in a minute. So this is this one. Then you might see I've got my new watercolour media plate. I started to use this over the last couple of days, and this is really good. I was impressed with this. I'm impressed because it's so easy to clean. I don't like to see stained things if I can help it, so this is really easy to clean. I've also got a little array here of the watercolour paints, watercolour inks, which we used the watercolour pearlescent ones a couple of months ago. So they were the ones that when you put them on your paper, you had a little sheen on it. And it was really a beautiful pearl colour, but these ones aren't. These are just plain watercolour, but you probably can see they're already watered down. So although I've got my aqua paintbrush, which is the one that I just prefer to work with rather than a brush, it's got no water in it. So because these are watered down enough, you can add water to it and it will blend them even more beautifuler. And I've got my little ink pads here. Oh, I'm all sorted. So we've got those, we've got the set of stamps, and we've also got an old favourite back in stock, revamped, and that is the Notched Squares from Presscuts. I'm sure many of you have got them because they must be one of my best-selling dies for this type of thing, nesting dies, but they are a set of 20 dies. They're not in there because they're over there. 20 dies. And they are completely all matched down, which is really difficult when you've got these notched squares, but they really match in beautifully. So I've got those back in stock as well. So let's, without further ado, have a go at doing a bit of watercolouring with this. Oh, hold on, my chair's falling to pieces. Well, the cushion was anyway. The designer boutique are usually, you can usually find a little thing, I can't see it today, that says that they've been designed by Pink Ink. Can't see it on that one actually today, but they are of that type of thing, that beautiful quality. And you have got 6 stamps in there, 1 large stamp, some smaller ones, and a sentiment. So that's what we're going to have a go at with today. So you can see that that is the actual stamps themselves. I've already taken these to couple off and put them on my stamping platform. So without further ado, let us get on with that. So we're going to bring my stamping platform through, and I've already placed them as I wanted them to be able to sit on there nicely. I think that's about right. And I'm going to use my VersaFine in Onyx Black to stamp him up, and I'm stamping it onto watercolour card. I could get away with ordinary coloured cards because I am not going to add loads and loads of water to this, but you will see as we go along. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I haven't even used this stamp yet, so it's not been inked at all. So let's just see how it comes out. I ought to do it on a flat surface. Let me just take that away for a second, because we ought to have a flat surface behind, otherwise we'll be in trouble. So I'm just pushing down as I go, just trying to get all of the areas in and let that paper soak up the ink. Looks quite good to me. Just a little bit more around this largest flower, I think, just pressing down. Looks beautiful, doesn't it, eh? Absolutely beautiful. Do you know what? I could say, well, let's just leave it like that because I just think that's so lovely. You've got so much detail around there. You could almost just leave it like that, really. If you're not a colorist, these stamps just allow you to just leave them, I think. So let me just put that onto one side. And because I do like colouring, I'm going to put my mat back on there and I'm going to have a little go at colouring it. So we've got a selection of colours, as I said, though the last lot of 10 were the pearlescent ones, and these ones are all plain colours. So you've got, let's see what they're called. You have got Mighty Magenta, Hazelnut, so that's a nice brown there. Raspberry Jam, nice red. Licorice Black. Peacock Teal, I just love teal. I think we're going to go with one of those colours. Glorious Grape, Juicy Orange, Fresh Meadow, I think. Yeah, Fresh Meadow and Blue Skies. So a nice selection of colours, and they can all mix in, the blend in with each other, and they have all got the little dropper bottle rather, which you just squeeze onto that 2 or 3 times just to drink the ink up, and we are away. So I'm going to start with and have a look what this looks like. I think the teal. So I'm just going to put a couple of drops onto my media mat, or a palette if you haven't got a media mat. And I'm going to start off by colouring the smaller flowers on here first. So I'm going to take a bit of my ink and I'm going to start in the middle, because if we mess up, we're okay if we're starting in the middle. And I'm going to keep coming back to the middle to pick up that colour and just move it around to the edges. And as you can see, I'm not being particularly careful because there's a lot of black lineage here, so that if I did go over the line, it wouldn't be necessarily showing. And you can see that although I'm, as I say, I am being a bit careful, but it's not necessarily important to be very, very careful. So I'm starting off in the middle and I'm just sort of going out to the edges. Add a little bit more. If you've got a centre of the flower which is coloured, it's easier to take the darker colours to there. You can always add a little bit more water and go around with it, but we're just going to go to those edges. So that's my centre of my flower, of my pieces there. And now I've got this big flower here, and I think I'm going to keep with the same colours. I don't like to go, I'm not a particularly colourful person, if you see what I mean. I don't like to do too many different colours, but I'm just going to do a different technique because it's a bigger flower. So I've started in the centre and I'm just going to sort of swipe the brush following the lines, really. So starting in that centre, so that would be possibly the darkest piece. And I've got sort of like a little stamen in the middle here. So I'm just going to try and miss that because I want to do that slightly differently. But you can see that I'm not being particularly careful that I'm colouring all of the pieces. I'm leaving a bit of white. Again, I think that looks quite nice as well. And you probably wouldn't ever find a flower this colour, would you? But never mind, who cares? It's Sunday and I like. So there you go. So while I just finish off this, I hope that you've all been keeping very well. It is worrying, all the new things coming out, isn't it? And it just makes me mad that it seems to be the younger people who are just not helping very much. And I think that's very sad because none of us want to be in lockdown like we are again. Like we have been. We've sacrificed enough, I think, haven't we? Just going to go a bit more on colour with this one. I'm pleased to say that the John Lockwood workshops are going ahead next weekend, all being well, keeping everything crossed, but it's all looking fine. Because although we've got what they call the rule of 6, the good thing is that with the thing, it's called a controlled managed event. And so luckily we can still go ahead. I'm really looking forward to seeing ladies, meeting some of you for the first time. Feel as if I know you anyway, because you're online with me. But it would be really nice to actually see some real people. So put that on there. I'm quite liking that. Now, what should we do now? A little bit of green. Just a little bit of green. And I'm going to make a green up, I think. So I'm going to go with the blue skies. And I'm going to put 1 drop of that down. And then I'm going to go with my, where is it? Yellow burst or whatever it's called. Oh, it's fallen over. Hold on, find out what it's called. Lemon burst. And I'm going to put a couple of drops, actually 3 drops of that, to really dilute it down so that it is a much paler green on there. Okay. So I'm just going to go over the leaves, and I'm not going to paint the whole of the amount of leaves. I'm just going to go over where there are the sort of the colour bits. So just taking that and just putting a little touch of green to it. You can see, not being particularly careful, if you see what I mean. I mean, obviously I'm trying, very trying, some might say, but I'm just trying to sort of keep it basic so that people can sort of believe that they too can do it as well, because you really can with these stamps. The whole idea really is that they've almost done all the work for you, and there's not a lot that you've got to think about. I'm sure that even if you can't keep to the lines, you could manage with this one, because as you can see, I'm not sort of going like this, and you could, and I'm sure some of you will, but not me. Not me. So just putting some green on there. Oh, missed this one here. Okay, that's looking lovely. So going to now just take my, hold on, which colour should we go for? I think I'm going to go for this one, which is Blue Skies. And I'm going to water that down quite a bit with some water, because although it is watery, oh, I want it very watery. The reason why I want it very watery is because I want to just go wherever, if you can see that, there's sort of like the little shadows, the little dots here, and I just want to go over in those areas. So I'm just sort of tapping it down. Now I'm not going on to the areas, I'm just giving it a hint. So I'm not following every little tiny dot. So I don't think I've gone totally mad, but just where it is a little bit of blue, because I've gone onto the blue-green spectrum sort of thing here. I think that works quite well, just to follow, whoops, bit of a blob there. We don't want a big blob, just to follow those lines along there. Just sort of brings it out a bit, doesn't it, rather than make it look all black and white. Although, as I said, I'm quite a fan of black and white. I just think it looks rather classy. So just pin that along there. And as I said, artistic license, no flowers really that colour, but, well, there might be the odd one or two. If so, I think I need them in my life too. But anyway, I just witter on, don't I? I'm not even looking up to see what you're saying, so I hope I haven't missed anything that you're saying. Oh, we're looking forward to our great day. Yeah, it's going to be really, really good. Really looking forward to that, and I know that John is as well. So it will be a good couple of weekends. Blimey, this time next week. Oh, that reminds me. This time next week, obviously, I will be at the workshop. So there won't be a live Facebook, but there will still be a Sunday special, and I will still have a video of it. So it will be one that you will just have to click on the link and then watch it, but you won't be able to talk to each other. Sorry, There'll be no talking or no interacting like that, I'm afraid. Can't sort of do that without me being there. So I'm afraid that that one will be as it is. So, but I will still be there, if you see what I mean. So I'm just going to put a bit of Wink of Stella onto some. So this is the clear Wink of Stella. And there's a few little, I don't know what they are, seed heads or something. And also a couple of little patterns. And so I'm just going to put that. And I'm also going to put that onto my stamen here. So it just gives, I'll show you in a minute, I'll pick it up and then you'll be able to see. It just gives a clear little finish to it. Did those, didn't I? So hopefully, when I pick that up, not sure if you can see it, but it is twinkling. Believe me, it's twinkling. And just gives a very subtle, we don't want sort of in your face colouring there, not when we've done so much of the other colours. I'm just going to soak these up. Get the worst of it off with one tissue. And then just wipe these clean with another one. So you can see that that really just gets clean. We like that, don't we? We like clean. There you go. So there is our card all ready to go, with a bit of Ujima flip on it. And so now I'm just going to make the card up. So this is a 7x7 piece here. And this is my 8x8 card. But I'm going to put one of the frames on. Now we've got to decide what frame, what colour frame that we want to do. So I have made up a frame here, but it's really just to show you that actually not all the frames work in colour, because I'm not so sure. That's actually, if you could see it, that is a steel, so a shiny grey, pearl foundation card. And I thought it looked quite nice, but actually I think we need a little hint of a blue there. So, or a bluey green. I think this one will look better. Yeah. So let's just, I'll show you how we cut that out. So here are my, don't move this all around. Here are my notch squares. So the largest one fits neatly into the 8x8 card. So I'm going to take that largest one. Okay. If you can see, I did that. That was my largest one. Fits there. And then I've got to match up which one that is. Is it that one? No. Next one down. Only because I've already cut that one out and then I thought I didn't like it after all. So let me just run through this through the machine. So here is my largest notch square. And I'm just going to pop that onto this sort of tealy coloured card here now. Obviously, in order to cut these, you do need a bigger machine. You do need an A4 machine in order to take the largest size anyway. So that cuts out my biggest size. I'll just take the tape off. I can probably use that just one more time. And then already cut out this piece. So I'm going to place that in the position so that it's right there, and then I'm just going to place that one into position so that I've got that little border all the way around, and then just tape that down like that. Move that one off. I have shown you quite a few times the different ways of doing the frames, so if you haven't seen me doing that before, there's quite a few on YouTube that tell you how to make the frames. but I think that this just makes such a pretty frame, doesn't it, with all those bits on there. So that one's now going to sit on top of there like that. So I'm going to glue that down straight on the top, and then I'm going to add some foam to the back of the two together. Oh, why do I never start the glue off before I come to see you? Hey? As I always, a little bit of glue all the way round and onto my frame. There we are. Press that down so it grabs. And then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to apply some of my tape. I'm going to apply my 3mm tape to this one so that I can be sure that that's in the right place. And with a 3mm, because it's a frame, it will sit up that much better. Well, that's what I think anyway. You liking it? I'm liking it too. As I said, we had a very busy weekend with all the lovely things from John, and I thought we would go through a few slightly different things here. So as you can see, my cards are not all warped or anything. It's lovely. Now, the only one thing is we need to just make sure that when we put our frame on, before I unstick it, you will see that the corners are just going to show through a bit. So if we just take a pair of scissors and just carefully just pop those corners off. And hopefully I've done it right. You could always, of course, put on a notched one and cut it out from notched before you even started, which, to be fair, would have been the better idea, wouldn't it? But if I now put that, I've got to stick it down a second. If I now put that on there, you can't see that colour, the card rather, behind it at all. Okay, so let's stick this one straight onto my card front, checking that we've got the card opening the right way. So I think that the bonus of these watercolour inks is actually that you don't have to saturate your card, or one of the bonuses is that you don't have to saturate your card, and sometimes you can, by doing that, it can warp the card quite badly and you might not be pleased with the finished effect sometimes. It dries off eventually, but sometimes it even still then dries a little bit warped. But with this, because your watercolour is already watered down, you just don't have to do that. So that makes a great deal of sense to me. Whoops. Oh, don't stick now. Right. Just want to hover it above to try and make sure that I've got an even, I think I have, an even amount all the way around. And I think you'll agree that now that colour looks better rather, than the, hold on, I'll just bring it in, than the silver one. Silver looks nice as well, but I think that that just finishes this card off because I've got the blues there. So I'm just going to press that down. So there's my beautiful, have a blooming good day. That's what I say to all of you as well. So let me just show you a couple of the other things that are in the section. Move my dies over the way. It does make it jump out, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm liking that. I was thinking that, Carol. I would ordinarily, I would actually do this a second time with just the flowers. In fact, I think I will sit here and play with that before I actually put it on the card. I think I'm going to stamp it out a second time and maybe even a third, and do maybe 3 layers of this one and 2 layers each of those. And when I do those layers, I think I'm going to put a little bit of the clear wink of Stella just onto the centre part of these flowers. I think that would look really pretty. But everybody to their own, and you can just keep on doing different things and whatever. So Yeah. Yeah, periwinkles are that sort of colour, aren't they, Ginny? Yeah. Well, there we are then. I think they class it as a petunia, but they aren't petunias, are they? They're a completely different flower to that one, I'm sure. I'm sure even if you wait till that one gets bigger, they wouldn't come out like that. But there you go. Anyway, so let me just show you some of the others. So this is another one. This is called Dazzling Sunflower. And I haven't made it into a card, but I had a go at making that one. Here I've used the yellow, what do we call it? Hold on a second. I have used the lemon burst and the juicy orange on my sunflower, and on the little dots, just the juicy orange on the little dots behind. And then I've watered down the fresh meadow for that, for the green for there. And again, I would have decoupaged that. I will tell you about the inks again in a second, Terry. I would have decoupaged my sunflower, just that one, I think, and done that a second time. I think that would look lovely. So that's that one. Then we have got Remember, which is Poppies. Now, I didn't completely finish this one, so it isn't what I would have totally liked. But it was just giving it an idea. I was just trying out the different greens on it. So it's a bit of a sample piece, this piece. And I put a wash over the back of the hazelnut colour because I didn't want anything too bright. And then I've used the raspberry jam for the, not real raspberry jam colour, for the poppies. And then I've mixed a few different colours, as I said, of the greens for the bottom there, which I thought was rather yum. And then I haven't had a chance to make any of these, but here's another couple. This one's called Beauty and the Bee, which is, I don't know what sort of flower it is, but you've got a lovely bee, just because, and happy bee day. Bee day? Oh, blimey. I don't know if I like bee day. It sounds like the toilet thing, bee day. I know it's not spelt like that, but anyway. I can think of other things that might stand off for, but no, let's not go down there. And a little ladybird there. You can see that they are considerably bigger than they're on there. And then we have got Sweet Cherry, which again is beautiful with a dragonfly, some cherries itself, and another little flower, and that beautiful, oh, lovely. But I think that one, you can see it starts up here, right up here. So it's a big stamp. That one would lend itself really to a rectangle card as opposed to a square, I think. But anyway, so that's all of the stamps. They're all over on the Facebook Live section. I have them coming in on Tuesday, so not long to wait for those. So let's put all those to one side. I have, as I said, the beautiful notch squares back in stock as well. They're all there, all ready to go, if you haven't already got them. And one thing I did like was the fact that if you have had them before, they came in the great big plastic containers, if that's the word for it. And now they've been, as I said, redesigned so they're the same as the other Presscut nesting squares and rectangles or things. So a much smaller packaging, which I think is so much better. Although I do always transfer mine onto magnetic sheets now. And then you've got these beautiful Cosmic Shimmer watercolour inks. As I said, they are watered down so already, so that you can use them straight from the pot, pop them onto your media mat or palette or whatever you're using and take them straight from there, although they can be watered down as well. So let me just hold on a second. Let's just get a piece of watercolour card. I just want to show you that a minute. So if I was to take a piece of watercolour card and I was to go with my Glorious Grape, so undo my Glorious Grape, pick him up a bit from pressing down on the top there. Oh, look at that colour. And put a couple of drops onto my mat. So that, as I said, is Glorious Grape. Then I've got my wide flat brush, but I'm going to water my piece of ordinary watercolour card first, and I'm going to pick up some of this And I just want you to see how well this goes and how it sort of can fade down to nothing. So you can start off with your brighter colour at the top here. Okay, and then loads of water going on here. And then you can sort of come back, and once that all dries off, you can go back in again, bringing up this layer, making it into layers, making it darker so that this one's quite pale. Take up some more, and I am putting a load of water on because every time obviously this brush goes over, it comes in with water. So you can see it just flows. Lovely to work with. And if you're someone that likes sort of instant colour as opposed to the little colour palettes and things, you know, the little not colour palettes, what are they called? Oh, I don't know, can't think. I'm here on my own. No one can come up with what they're called. I don't know what they're called. But yeah, whatever. So you can see, and also if it is wet like that, if you just go over, you can take this top layer of wetness, if you could call it that, off and get an instant dry, but then another instant much paler colour. And then you could go back on top of it. Where did he go? Oops. Take my, I've got no watercolour, no water in there. But you can see that will take the colour again on top of it, so you can actually paint in layers. But I've got absolutely no water at all in there, and it still flows because you've got that water added to it already. So if you're someone that doesn't know how much water should be in it, and you're either flooding it or you're not got enough and blah blah blah, and it still doesn't blend, maybe these are a watercolor choice for you. As I said, they are different than the ones that we had in before, because the ones that we had in before were the pearlescent ones, which dry with a shine and a beautiful sheen to them. But these aren't. These are just the plain watercolor inks. So there you go. Let's bring my, oh, I was going to say masterpiece. I don't know about that, but I do like that. I really like that. But I think before I'm going to put it on there, I am going to do a bit of decoupage on there, because I think that will finish that off rather nicely. So I haven't gone too far over the half an hour. I hope I haven't bored you rigid, and I hope that you like it. It's not, I don't know what it's called. Pan paints. Maybe that's what you call it, Heather. Yeah. Can they be used with a gel plate? I haven't tried them. I think you ought to, Pat, as you've asked. But I would think they might be okay. My only thing is that they might slip and slide off because they're not sticky. Okay. They're not a sticky card. A sticky card. Bleh, a sticky paint. But yeah, great to have a go at. And actually, even as that's drying, it has got a beautiful finish to it. I'm loving it. Loving it. And yeah, as you said, Jill, it sort of finishes off with a flattish card like that, and a very quick card, because I mean that really doesn't take very long to do that painting. But if you wanted to go a bit more, you have got scope to do it, which is what I love about all of those flower collection from boutique, what is it called, Designer Boutique. They just give a lovely finish. So there you go. I'm just going to finish that off, so you can leave me playing. So I will be back on Wednesday with the Wednesday Wonder, and that will be at 11 o'clock. And I will also be here on Friday with our Fancy Friday, whatever I fancy that we're doing. But don't forget that it isn't a live. I will be here at 11 o'clock as such next Sunday, but it isn't a live one. It will be a YouTube video for you to watch with the Sunday special of next week. Okay. So have a great day. Oh, sorry, I was reading your messages. Yeah. I don't think it would take you longer than a half an hour. It might do with all the cutting out, but the stamping, stamp it, get a couple of colours, bush, bosh, you're done. So anyway, have a good day. Have a good rest of the weekend. Hope for you, but most importantly, stay safe, everybody. Look after yourself and look after everybody around you. Thank you so much for joining me. Anything that you might like the look of, please go over to the website on maximumcrafts.com, and after the video, when it comes up on YouTube in a short while, then I would love to see your comments on the YouTube bit as well itself. Okay then, thanks for taking time to come with me today. Thank you. Bye.